Good evening, you're watching Left, Right and Centre. It's Friday night. I'm Nidhi Razdan. On the show this evening, a Congress candidate threatens to kill Narendra Modi, but why hasn't the Congress expelled him for his hate speech? Has the political discourse touched the lowest levels in this campaign? Also joining us later, senior lawyer Harish Salve, who accused Mahendra Singh Dhoni of lying to the probe committee on the betting scandal. He tells NDTV Dhoni needs to be investigated further and calls for a radical overhaul of the BCCI. That's a little later in the program. But first, a huge political controversy today after a video emerged of the Congress's candidate from Saharanpur in Uttar Pradesh making a hate speech saying that he will chop Narendra Modi to pieces. This is what got Imran Masood into trouble.
मैं दिल्ली बैठ के राजनीति नहीं करता, मैं लखनऊ बैठ के राजनीति नहीं करता, मैं तो सड़क का आदमी अपने साथी के लिए मार भी दूंगा और मर भी जाऊंगा। ना मरने से डरता, ना मारने से डरता, दोनों से नहीं डरता। और भाई ड्रामेबाजी करने को कोई कुछ ही कर ले, नरेंद्र मोदी से कौन लड़ेगा? वो गुजरात समझ रहा 4% मुसलमान है गुजरात में, यहाँ 42% मुसलमान है, यहाँ गुजरात में।
What's not clear is when exactly this footage was taken. What was the date on which this hate speech was made? Now, Imran Masood has since apologized and he actually claims that the clip is many months old. But the Election Commission has taken note and an FIR has been registered against him. He is been booked under very serious charges. However, while regretting what Masood did, his party, the Congress, has not taken any action against him. In fact, Rahul Gandhi is going ahead with a rally in Saharanpur tomorrow.
आपने एक भाषण में ये कहा है कि आपने थ्रेटन किया है नरेंद्र मोदी जी को, धमकी दी है उन्हें। ऐसी भयानक धमकी आपने क्यों दी उनको?
नहीं, मैंने धमकी नहीं दी है मैडम। ये हमारे यहाँ की एक कहावत है कि सबक सिखा देंगे, तो वही है, कोटि कोटि कर देंगे, हम सबक सिखा देंगे। तो ये इसके अंदर कोई धमकी नहीं है और न मेरा ये आशय है और न हम लोग हिंसक प्रवृत्ति के हैं। और मेरे ऊपर जो सांप्रदायिक उसका आरोप लगाया जा रहा है, मेरे साथ हिंदू और मुसलमान सब है। और आप देख,
आपने कहा है कि आपने उनको मारने की धमकी दी है।
नहीं, मारने की धमकी कहीं नहीं, एक शब्द भी नहीं मारने का कहा हमने कहा कुट्टी काट देंगे। तो कुट्टी काटने का मतलब क्या होता है? यहाँ पे कहते हैं सबक सिखा देंगे।
लेकिन फिर तो आपने बाद में माफी भी मांगी, तो फिर आपने माफी क्यों मांगी?
नहीं, माफी नहीं मांगी। मैंने कहा, मैंने खेद व्यक्त किया और मैं इसलिए खेद व्यक्त कर रहा हूँ कि यह संसदीय भाषा है और संसदीय परंपरा के तहत मुझे इस तरह की भाषा का इस्तेमाल नहीं करना चाहिए था, जो गलत था, और वही मैंने किया। और मैंने तो इतना बड़ा दिल कर करके खेद भी व्यक्त कर दिया, लेकिन वरुण गांधी जी हाथ काट रहे थे और मोदी जी कुत्ते का पिल्ला मुसलमान को बता रहे थे, उन्होंने तो आज तक माफी भी नहीं मांगी। तो हम लोग तो बड़ा दिल करके, चूंकि राहुल गांधी के सिपाही हैं, राहुल जी के निर्देश हैं कि हम लोग कोई भी ऐसी भाषा का इस्तेमाल न करें जो भाषा संसदीय हो, तो हम लोग उससे माफी मांग रहे हैं।
So Imran Masood saying that he's expressed regret, but also saying why wasn't anything done against Varun Gandhi when he made that infamous hate speech in the last general election. The question is whether the Election Commission also has the power to really act against those who make these kind of hate speeches. The Supreme Court recently has refused to intervene on the matter. And also the question is, why doesn't the Congress party then again act against this candidate and expel him and have him disqualified? Joining us on the program tonight, first we have Naveen Chawla, former Chief Election Commissioner, Siddharth Bhatia, our commentator, joins us from Mumbai this evening. The politicians on the panel, Sanjay Jha from the Congress Party, Siddharth Nath Singh from the BJP and Raghav Chadha from the Aam Aadmi Party. Sanjay Jha, my question to you first is that is an apology, or not even an apology as Mr. Masood is saying, he's not even willing to call it that, he's saying he has expressed regret. But is that enough? Shouldn't the Congress party be acting against him and saying this is not on, this kind of language is not on, and you should not be a candidate in these elections?
Well, I think Nidhi has expressed regret, and as a party spokesperson, I can tell you we condemn the use of any language which is violent or which has connotations that are really not as per the protocol of behavior expected from political candidates. The larger issue, though, is not about just one statement made by Mr. Masood. I think the fundamental point that we cannot ignore in this election is it is an extremely polarized election. And if you heard what Mr. Masood said, I'm myself not aware of exactly at what point was this video taken, but I can tell you he mentions Gujarat there, and I'll tell you why that's pertinent. You have today in this election 3 MLAs from the BJP booked for the Muzaffarnagar riots being given Lok Sabha seats by Mr. Modi's party. He's a prime ministerial candidate. what kind of a message it is sending out.
What does
not
that
just
have
Uttar
to do?
Pradesh,
What?
but
No,
to the
I'm
rest of
sorry,
India.
but what does that
No,
have to do
I
with
think
your
if you really
candidate
want,
using
I'm
the
saying,
kind of language that he
Nidhi,
did?
if you want to have a discussion, then 1 minute. If you want to have a discussion on this, you got to go down to the more fundamental cause of why such hate speeches happen.
No, but then you're
I'll give you
justifying
another
it.
example. No, I'm not justifying it. I'm saying that, I'm trying to actually discuss with you in a more, I would say, pragmatic sense as to why the environment of hate and the communal tensions that are happening today are being caused by whom?
Sanjay,
You
that's
have
like a
triple murder accused
psychoanalysis.
Amit Shah.
No.
1 minute. You have Amit Shah as the commander-in-chief of the UP campaign for the BJP. I mean, there are very, very wrong signals being created in the entire, shall we say, political environment. This is a bigger political ecosystem you're debating, not just one hate speech by Mr. Masood. I can tell you that Raju Ramachandran, by the way, when he demanded the prosecution of Mr. Modi in the Gujarat riots, is on inflammatory speeches made by Mr. Modi himself. So he's become the prime ministerial candidate for the BJP as of now. So the point we are making is, has anybody condemned Mr. Modi, by the way?
No.
We have condemned him. I'm saying let the action
I'm
be
asking
taken.
you very simply
Nobody
that
from the party
your
has endorsed what
candidate
he
in
said.
Saharanpur has said that the prime ministerial candidate of the BJP should be chopped to pieces. It is absolutely horrible, abhorrent language. And therefore, what is the Congress doing about it except saying that he has expressed regret? Is that regret enough? If you want to hold yourself to a certain standard, then do that. Don't say what did the other parties do.
Well, let me tell you, we do. And for the same reason, I want to pose a counter question that while Mr. Masood, not many people had heard of him before, but a lot of people know about Mr. Modi, Nidhi. And Mr. Modi 2 days ago in Kashmir calls India's defense minister a Pakistani agent.
It's very
Shouldn't
different
he
from
resign
saying that
at the
you're going to
moment as
kill
even as
someone
a
and chop them to
potential
pieces.
candidate?
Sure.
Shouldn't he?
Maybe
Are you
it
now
may be bad
comparing
language.
the level of...
It may be bad language,
yes,
Sanjay, but it's
it is
different.
not just bad language.
Yes, but it's different.
Well, let me tell you,
it's
we
not, it is not
condemn
the
the
same as saying
language
you're going to
of
cut
Mr.
somebody up.
Masood.
It's different.
Well, let me tell you, we condemn the language of Mr. Masood, but I cannot here at this point of time but explain to you that there is a communal environment being created in Uttar Pradesh and the rest of India, and like it or not, 2014 election, the word development is a subterfuge. It is a polarized election, and we know who's creating it. It is the Bharatiya Janata Party. I don't approve of what Mr. Masood said, neither does my party. But I'm looking at
And
the
yet you're
larger
blaming
issue
them.
that you need to discuss today on your panel.
Sure, and yet Siddharthnath Singh, the Congress is turning around and making this, in a sense, blamed for the BJP, that it's your fault. But there is one important point that Sanjay Jha has made, that this is certainly a very polarized election and probably the most polarized that we have ever seen. Siddharth.
Nidhi, the problem with Sanjay Jha is that you talk about Delhi, he goes to Timbuktu. So you will never get a straight answer, and he goes round and round about something.
No, I go to Gujarat.
Now,
I don't go
hang
to
on,
Timbuktu, I go to
Sanjay,
Gujarat.
hear me out, and then we can argue about it. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
You'll get your chance.
Sure.
Now the issue is, Nidhi,
Spare me your digs, because even I can give you some.
Sanjay is saying that this is an environment created, and therefore the person has said. Now let me take it back before even Muzaffarnagar riots had happened. There were more than 100 riots which happened, communal violence which happened in UP. It was their government which was taking the support of Samajwadi Party. They didn't do anything. They didn't say anything. Before the Muzaffarnagar riot, or let's say today what Masood has said, Imran Masood has said, before that, does he justify Zahar ki kheti? Does he justify Shinde in Jaipur saying that the RSS...
Yes, we do.
Please hear me out. Sanjay, don't interrupt. Sanjay, don't interrupt.
Okay.
Otherwise, I have to raise my voice and there will be no discussion with Nidhi.
Okay. Sanjay will let you finish. Yes.
Okay. Now, does Sanjay justify the same when Mr. Shinde had said in Jaipur that RSS and BJP are running terror camps and training Hindu terrorists? All these things are not in isolated cases, Nidhi. Congress has nothing to offer to this country in the name of development or on the basis of good governance. They have nothing to offer, so they are diverting all the attention towards communalizing the whole thing.
I have a question for you though.
So therefore,
it
is the polarization and the communalization of the Congress which is happening in this election.
Hate speeches is actually there, that it in a sense cuts across party lines. We've heard the most horrible things from various political parties, and when Varun Gandhi made that speech in the last election, I don't remember the BJP exactly kicking him out of the party
I'll tell you.
either. If the Congress is guilty of
if
this,
you
so
allow
are
me,
you.
if you allow me 30 seconds, I'll tell you what we had said. We had said, and that time the chief spokesperson, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad, and I was sitting next to him, and he said, if what has been attributed to Varun Gandhi, we do not approve of it. And let me say, he was arrested, there was an NSA slapped on him, and there was a huge, there was a prosecution, and he was in a jail. But at the end of the day, last year, everything was dropped, the NSA was dropped, and he got a clean chit. So he went through the legal process also. But the case, and there it was, and what, he got a clean chit, so the matter closes there. But here is a case where Sanjay Jha and his party, with a deliberate attempt to polarize the election, has been saying repeatedly, bringing from Mr. Shinde, coming to Rahul Gandhi, referring that Muzaffarnagar riots, that IB, somebody from IB came and told that, Pakistan is approaching the Muslim boys. Then coming on to Digvijay Singh, coming on to Zahar ki kheti. Now this impact, so all this is by design, because they have nothing to offer, and no comment or reprimand to Samajwadi Party.
Okay, now can I come
on
in?
the Muzaffarnagar riots? Coming quickly, then to Siddharth Bhatia. Yes, Sanjay.
Yeah, let me ask Mr. Singh this question. Who said James Michael Lingdo in Gujarat, and why? What was he trying to convey, Mr. Modi, in that speech? Who said hum paanch,
now you will
hamare
come to
25?
Mia Musharraf also.
And I'm going to
Sanjay,
ask
you will come to Mia Musharraf also.
Thanks for quoting
These
me,
are
but now let me
speeches
finish.
which are made.
Nidhi, I'm glad we're discussing more fundamental issues on your program.
These are the statements
Siddharth, I thought you didn't want me to interrupt you, but I think you're not being reciprocal.
One second, Sanjay Jha,
You're not being reciprocal.
The point is, what Modi has said in the past is one thing. I still come back to the point that beyond saying we condemn or we don't approve of what our candidate has said, why should he still be a candidate? Why is Rahul Gandhi still going ahead with his Saharanpur rally tomorrow? What's the message that you're sending? That you're okay with this kind of language?
Well, let me tell you, Nidhi, I think Mr. Masood has made his own statement. There is apparently an FIR lodged against him. The election commission, probably the BJP or somebody, will file a case. Let the law, whatever is prevalent, take its own course. The point I want to make here is, and this is something that Mr. Singh ought to answer before this program is over, they have given a red carpet welcome to a gentleman by the name of Subramaniam Swamy, who believes, and if you read his hate speech article for which he was thrown out of Harvard, he said Muslims in this country should not be allowed to vote because they should be subjugated to a Hindu Rashtra. And he goes on and on, alluding that all terrorists in this country belong to a certain minority community. Has the BJP contradicted it? They have given him the role of a spokesperson, and they have given him a red carpet version into the party. Now let's not have double standards here. Siddharth Singh, your party.
Let me get the rest of the panelists, because I know that the BJP Congress debate will go on all night.
And he was not in the party.
One second, Siddharth Bhatia. One second, Siddharth Bhatia. Sanjay and Siddharth Singh, one more. I have to turn the mic down.
Mr. Sanjay
Siddharth Bhatia. I'm coming to Siddharth Bhatia.
Mr. Nidhi, just a small comment.
All right, I'm coming to Siddharth Bhatia now, because this is the only way to do it. Siddharth Bhatia, is this going to colossally backfire on the Congress party? Because in the past, we have seen that every time they attack Mr. Modi in this way, it actually backfires on them and in a sense benefits the BJP. This is, many would say, a stupid strategy, if it is one.
Firstly, I think anybody would say this is a very shameful comment. It's shocking, it's disgusting. What these people don't realize, what many leaders have stopped realizing, especially those who are operating in very, very far-flung areas, that any statement they make, whether in colloquial or deliberately or whatever, it may appeal to the crowd at that very moment, but everybody in that crowd has a video cam. They've got cell phones. No longer can you hide what you used to hide many years ago. So I think leaders need to adjust to this reality and be a little careful. Secondly, I think these false pieties by both parties, you said this, but what about that, is not going to work anymore. If Mr. Rahul Gandhi is going ahead with this tomorrow, a lot of people are going to notice it. A lot of people are going to wonder, is this the same man who's talking about cleansing his party and is allowing? We'll have to see, of course, how it turns out. but that you are allowing somebody like him to make this kind of statement. I mean, he can get away by saying, you know, this is a kind of phraseology used in our part of the world, but it's not going to cut any more ice. I think we should step back a bit also. You know, some time ago, I think many TV programs, including yours, said, is this the lowest we've reached? There is no lowest. We continue scraping the bottom. All kinds of things are now coming out as the date comes nearer. It's become desperate. You know, I think there are examples in the BJP, several of them. Let's not be, you know, let not Mr. Singh say, you know, we are purer than the driven snow. The Congress also, other parties also. And I think this is going to be one hell of an ugly, dirty kind of thing where there is no holds barred.
And that's pretty
what
clear.
The leadership does about it is going to be the differentiator.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be the differentiator. I don't see the BJP doing anything. I don't see the Congress doing anything. I won't be surprised if they look the other way, wink and nudge, and you know, for public consumption.
Well, like you said, and like I said, that Rahul Gandhi is going ahead with his rally in Saharanpur tomorrow, and Rahul Gandhi was the one who told his party a few weeks ago that don't launch personal attacks against anyone. And I don't know how else to describe what Mr. Masood has said. But Mr. Chawla, what about the Election Commission here? What can the Election Commission do in instances like this? Because we've seen it in the last general election as well. Now we're seeing again these kind of hate speeches being made. The level of the language is as Siddharth said, you can't even say it's the lowest of the low anymore. But are the EC's hands tied beyond a point?
No, I don't think they're tied. I think that the EC is in a very powerful position. Of course, when it receives a complaint from an opponent or from another political party or takes suo motu action, if it feels that it's a cognizable offence, it can lodge an FIR, and it has been doing so, not merely, you know, in the sort of national debate, but all over ever since the Model Code of Conduct came into operation. Let me remind the political contestants that the Model Code of Conduct emanated from the political establishment itself, and I think it stood the test of time. But if a political party or a contestant or both decide to cross a certain line, the Election Commission will lodge an FIR, and it's been doing so. Now, we had already set up in 2009 that if an FIR was lodged by the Election Commission, then it would have to meet its logical end in a court of law. It could not be withdrawn subsequently by executive order. And that is what happened in one of the cases that you mentioned. It met its end in a court eventually. So, but there is one final major power that I think through the channel we might like to remind the political parties, although I can no longer speak for the Election Commission, but of course the powers remain the same, which is that there is a very powerful symbols order, and if there are repeated violations by a political party, the Election Commission is well within its powers to withdraw recognition under the symbols. But you know, this has to be a very well calibrated approach by the Election Commission, because it's a very powerful punishment.
But Mr. Chawla, let me ask you,
political parties are aware.
Let me ask you that the Supreme Court recently on the issue of hate speeches actually refused to intervene, and it cited freedom of speech as the basis and the foundation for that, saying that, you know, we are a country of, you know, so many 100 billion, and, you know, what is hate speech for one person may not be hate speech for another. And are you disappointed then that the Supreme Court didn't choose to take a view on this? Because, you know, when you look at the kind of speeches that are often made by politicians and how they get away with it, and in a country where it does inflame passions and create trouble, do you believe the court should have taken a view on that?
Let me put it to you this way. I think the Supreme Court has taken 2 or 3 very important decisions recently, and one which will have a major effect on the political establishment in due course and soon, is that all cases relating to criminality must see their end within a year. Now, I don't know how that will play out. It may extend a little, but it's a very important order, and the Supreme Court has been extremely supportive of the Election Commission. Let me place that on record. Now, this is for the CEOs of different states, empowered by the Election Commission to take a view on whether this is a hate speech or that is a bribe, and so on. So this is within the process and the purview, and no, the Election Commission has a lot of power, and if it feels that it needs to pull up a political party or finally to register a case even against a political party, it's free to do so. And I think we should watch this space.